Hey Bears fans, what a morning this turned out to be. You know those days when you're just getting ready, the coffee's brewing, maybe you're about to drop the kid off at daycare, and boom, breaking news drops right in your lap? That's exactly how today went. Out of nowhere, the Chicago Bears made a move that caught everyone off guard. CJ Gardner-Johnson is officially part of the active 53-man roster. And believe me, this isn't just another roster tweak. This says a lot about where the organization stands right now and the direction they're heading in. Now, let's talk about why this move is raising eyebrows. Ryan Poles has built a reputation since he arrived in Chicago for being pretty deliberate about who he brings into the locker room. He's talked over and over about valuing character, leadership, the right attitude, guys who fit the culture the Bears are trying to build. We've seen him pass on talent before for those exact reasons. Remember the draft when Jalen Carter was sitting there on the board and Chicago decided to go another direction? That wasn't about talent. That was about trust, locker room chemistry, and long-term stability. So when you hear that the team just brought in Gardner-Johnson, a player who's been, let's just say, well-traveled in recent years, it naturally makes people stop and wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. Gardner-Johnson is no scrub. The man can play. He's proven that time and time again in this league. He's tough, fiery, and knows how to make plays from multiple positions. He's a hybrid guy, part nickel, part safety, part chaos on the field. He's the kind of player you notice immediately when he's out there because he's loud, physical, and he gets under people's skin. And let's not forget, Bears fans have history with him. Go back to that wild game against the Saints when Javon Wims and later Anthony Miller both got ejected for taking swings at him. That's the kind of energy Gardner-Johnson brings. He's a master of the mental game, getting opponents to react emotionally, and he's done it for years. The irony is rich. 5 years later, he's suiting up for Chicago. Life in the NFL moves fast, doesn't it? But here's where things get even more interesting. For all his skill, Gardner-Johnson has had a hard time sticking in one place. He started strong in New Orleans, became a key part of that Saints secondary, but after 3 seasons, they traded him to Philadelphia. He played well there, helped the Eagles reach a Super Bowl, and yet somehow didn't stick around. Then it was off to Detroit, where he got hurt early in the season. This past offseason, he found himself shipped off to Houston for practically nothing, just a pick swap. That didn't last long either. 3 weeks in, he's released. Then he signs with Baltimore's practice squad, asks for his release a few weeks later, and now here he is, a Chicago Bear. That's a lot of moving boxes for one player in just a few seasons. So what makes this move make sense for Chicago right now? Simple. Desperation mixed with opportunity. The Bears' secondary has been banged up. They've been searching for answers at nickel, dealing with injuries to key guys like Kyler Gordon, and trying to patch holes week after week. Gardner-Johnson brings immediate experience and flexibility. He knows Dennis Allen's defensive system from his New Orleans days, and that could be huge. He can step in right away, line up inside, and let Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker continue to roam at safety. With Tariq Stevenson hopefully coming back soon, this group could suddenly look stable again. And the best part? The Bears didn't have to give up a single draft pick to make it happen. From a pure football standpoint, the signing makes sense. The guy can play. The need is there. The risk is low. You're not giving up assets, and if it doesn't work, you move on. But from a cultural standpoint, it's surprising. This doesn't feel like a Ryan Poles move. It feels like a Ben Johnson move. It feels like the coaching staff stood up and said, "We need this guy now." Maybe Poles agreed. Maybe he didn't fight it too hard, but you can tell this was driven by urgency on the field. The team is sitting at a pivotal point in the season, and every week matters. This is the kind of signing that tells you the staff is focused on winning right now, not just building for later. And honestly, maybe that's a good thing. The Bears have spent so long in rebuild mode that it's refreshing to see some aggression. Gardner-Johnson might not be a long-term solution, but he could be exactly what this defense needs in the short term. He's emotional, he's fiery, he brings energy to a defense that has lacked spark in recent weeks. You bring a guy like that into the building, and suddenly practice feels different. Film study feels different. The energy on game day feels different. That's what a veteran with attitude can bring to a team full of young players trying to find consistency. Now, of course, this move isn't without risk. Gardner-Johnson's reputation follows him. There have been whispers of locker room clashes, disagreements with coaches, frustrations over roles. Whatever it is, teams have been quick to move on from him. Maybe this time is different. Maybe he's had a chance to reflect after bouncing between 4 teams in just over a year. Maybe he realizes that at 27 years old, he's running out of second chances. If he comes in with the right mindset, locks in, and focuses on football, this could be one of the best under-the-radar additions of the season. The timing is fascinating, too. The Bears are gearing up to face one of the most explosive receiving duos in the league, Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins. If there was ever a week to add help in the secondary, it's this one. Gardner-Johnson's ability to play multiple roles could be the difference between holding your own and getting torched. He knows how to disguise coverages, he's physical at the line, and he's not afraid to tackle. That versatility could let the Bears mix up their looks, show some 3 safety sets, and make life a little harder for opposing quarterbacks. There's also that intriguing connection to Dennis Allen's defensive philosophy. Gardner-Johnson learned the ropes under Allen in New Orleans, and even though the scheme in Chicago isn't identical, there are plenty of familiar concepts. That means he won't be starting from zero. He's the kind of player who can absorb a playbook quickly, and given how thin the Bears are right now, there's no doubt he'll be suiting up sooner rather than later. It's wild to think about how quickly this guy's NFL story has turned. From being a rising star in New Orleans to bouncing around like a pinball in the league. Now he's landing in Chicago with a real chance to stabilize his career. He's still only 27, turning 28 in December, and physically he's right in his prime. The question is whether he can make the most of it this time. Can he put the distractions behind him and just ball out? Can he be that spark plug for a Bears defense that's been searching for identity all season? If he can, this move could end up being a quiet masterstroke by the coaching staff. They didn't need to mortgage the future. They didn't have to pull off a complicated trade. They just added a proven player who, if his head's in the right place, can step in and make an impact immediately. And let's be real, Chicago could use a little attitude on defense. This franchise was built on toughness, swagger, and physicality. Gardner-Johnson fits that mold, even if he sometimes crosses the line. So here we are, Bears fans. It's a new chapter, and it's going to be fun to watch how this unfolds. Gardner-Johnson has the talent to make a difference, but the rest is up to him. He's got to show he can buy into what this team is building, and the Bears, in turn, need to show they can harness his fire without letting it burn the house down. It's a delicate balance, but if they pull it off, this defense might just find the edge it's been missing all year. Now, looking beyond the surface of the signing, this move says a lot about the current balance of power inside Halas Hall. For the past couple of years, there's been a very clear hierarchy. Ryan Poles calling the shots in the front office, setting the tone for roster construction, and the coaching staff following his blueprint. But this feels different. This feels like one of those moments when the coaches, led by Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen, stepped in and said, "We need this player. We can't wait any longer." And that kind of urgency doesn't happen unless the situation on the field demands it. Chicago's secondary has been hanging by a thread, and the timing of this signing makes it pretty obvious that this was a football decision first and a front office decision second. If you think back to last season, this kind of signing probably doesn't happen. The Bears were still in that cautious rebuild mindset, thinking about draft capital and long-term culture. Poles was careful, even conservative, with mid-season roster moves. But now it feels like there's a real push to win games right now, to salvage this season and send a message that the organization refuses to drift through mediocrity. It's not just about next year anymore. It's about today, about setting a tone in the locker room that this team is done being passive. And nothing sends that message louder than bringing in a guy like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, someone who plays with fire, emotion, and zero hesitation. There's another angle to all this, though. For Gardner-Johnson, this could be a redemption arc. Think about it. Every stop along the way, there's been some kind of story. He clashed with teammates in New Orleans. He didn't stay in Philly despite playing in a Super Bowl. Things unraveled quickly in Detroit, then again in Houston. And through all of that, the pattern has been the same: elite talent, undeniable impact, but a short leash wherever he goes. Maybe this is the point in his career where he realizes that the league moves on quickly. There are always younger players, cheaper contracts, and teams with no patience for distractions. Chicago might be his last real shot to prove that he can be both the player and the professional everyone hoped he'd become when he first entered the league. And honestly, that kind of hunger can be dangerous in a good way. When a player who's been tossed around starts feeling like he's running out of chances, you often get their best football. You get focus, you get discipline, you get fire that's been simmering for years. Gardner-Johnson's always played with a chip on his shoulder, but now that chip might feel heavier than ever. That could be exactly the kind of energy a struggling defense needs. The Bears have been missing that edge, that vocal spark, that emotional leader who plays like every snap could be his last. If he brings that attitude to the field and keeps it under control, it could elevate everyone around him. It's also worth considering what this means for the guys already in that secondary. Jaquan Brisker is growing into a leadership role. Kevin Byard brings veteran experience. Tariq Stevenson and Kyler Gordon are still developing. Adding Gardner-Johnson into that mix creates a dynamic blend of personalities: calm, fiery, young, and veteran. It's not always smooth when you throw that kind of mix together, but if it works, it can be electric. The defense suddenly has voices, swagger, and a little unpredictability. That's how good units are born. Sometimes it just takes one guy to change the temperature of the room. From a schematic perspective, this move also opens up a lot of options for the coaching staff. Gardner-Johnson's versatility means Chicago can experiment with 3 safety looks, disguise coverages, and move him around to match up with opposing slot receivers or tight ends. Against a team like Cincinnati, with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins stretching the field, that flexibility is invaluable. He's physical enough to blitz, quick enough to cover, and experienced enough to understand route concepts before they even develop. You can't teach that kind of football instinct. But let's be real, everything comes down to chemistry. This locker room has been through its fair share of growing pains, and bringing in a personality like Gardner-Johnson's can go one of 2 ways. Either he buys into the culture and becomes an emotional anchor for the defense, or it becomes another short-term stop on his journey around the league. The Bears can't afford for it to be the latter. They need this to work. They need someone who can bring energy without chaos, swagger without self-destruction. The talent is there, the opportunity is there, and for once, the timing actually feels right. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The Chicago Bears are once again at the center of controversy after a bewildering sequence in last night's game that has fans and analysts talking nonstop. In what is being described as a moment of sheer disbelief, the Bears appeared to blink under pressure on a critical 4th down, a decision, or lack thereof, that may haunt the team for weeks to come. Eyewitnesses and insiders are now whispering about internal tensions and a potential rift between coaching staff and key players, with the spotlight falling squarely on quarterback Caleb Williams. According to sources close to the team, Williams allegedly called for a specific play, a strategy he had rehearsed extensively during practice, only to be overridden by the coaching staff at the last second. The result? A failed attempt that not only cost valuable yardage, but also ignited a firestorm of criticism from fans and commentators alike. Social media erupted within minutes, with hashtags questioning leadership decisions and speculating about Williams' future with the Bears trending throughout the night. Those within the locker room describe a tense atmosphere, with murmurs that this is not the first time Williams' input has been dismissed during crucial moments. Some analysts are suggesting that this incident could mark a turning point in the season, either galvanizing the team to correct its course or deepening internal fractures. When your quarterback isn't being heard on 4th down, that's a recipe for disaster, one anonymous insider reportedly said, adding that emotions ran high immediately after the play, with heated words exchanged behind closed doors. While the Bears remain officially tight-lipped, the story is spreading like wildfire. Rumors of potential lineup changes and coaching shifts are now circulating, as fans demand accountability and clarity. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams, known for his composure and leadership on the field, has yet to publicly comment, leaving speculation about his relationship with the team and future role to grow even louder. For now, Chicago's faithful are left on edge, wondering whether this controversial fourth down decision will become an infamous turning point, or simply another chapter in a season already filled with drama. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.